Well, firstly, I would love to wish everyone a happy Valentine's Day, but also a happy LGBT History Month. Now, I think we should use this time to both reflect and acknowledge and respect LGBT creators and icons that have perhaps been taken for granted or not given the respect that they deserve by the media or by politics or by history in general. Also, I would love to use this time to launch a new series that we are calling Open Conversations between myself and new and upcoming LGBT creators and artists within the industry. For the first episode of this, it's a pleasure to welcome Asher Fynn and Luca Manning, two incredible musicians. Asher Fynn is a recent graduate from Guildhall. They studied electronic music production and were the first person on the Sonic Arts pathway. They are a multidisciplinary artist and collaborator working across music, sound design, photography and performance. For over 10 years they have been working as an art teacher and a workshop facilitator. And also they are an event producer. They are part of the House of Pieces with Queefy Cabaret, as well as producing their own shows, Antics. Luca Manning is an individual, an exciting artist with a big voice and a story to tell. And after being named Jazz Newcomer of the Year at the 2020 Parliamentary Jazz Awards, Luca has shown that they are a passionate artist who is committed to pushing boundaries within the jazz idiom and beyond. And Luca's debut album, When the Sun Comes Out, was released in 2019 to much critical acclaim and features long-term friends and collaborators Fergus McCready and Laura MacDonald. Luca's recent highlights include being a featured vocalist at this year's EFG London Jazz Festival opening gala, Jazz Voice, and being selected to perform at and host the virtual 2020 Scottish Jazz Awards, alongside their friend and fellow Scottish creative Suzanne Bonnard. So it's an absolute pleasure to welcome these two fantastic guests, and I hope you enjoy the conversation that we have. So hello to you both, and basically let's start with Asher. How have you been doing at the moment?
How am I doing? I'm doing fine. Ultimately, I'm doing fine. I'm, really lucky that I've been able to, in the first lockdown and this one, come and spend a lot of time with my mum. We've been able to support each other. Even though we've obviously had a great impact on both of our incomes and our abilities to work, we've both got a roof over our head. So had a lot of really amazing opportunities. Part of my way of navigating this, I guess, is trying to really keep busy. If I'm not busy, then I have more time to think, and then it's not so fab. But also, I just have to acknowledge that I'm so lucky. I've got so many privileges. I've got skill sets and abilities, but also resources and materials that have meant that I can, kind of sidestep in many ways, which other people haven't got the opportunity. But overall, fine. So yeah, I should say there's massive shout out to Vogue Fabrics for giving me so much work and all the opportunities, as well as quite a few artists, including some people in this interview, working with you, and that's these kind of projects have been able to keep me going. Overall, fine. I'm here, navigating it.
So even online, you've been able to sort of maintain this kind of the same sense of community that you felt before, would you say?
Yeah. Well, no, as we're not in our spaces, we're not able to kind of meet and interact with each other in a physical level, which is, what we desperately need. But I will say that, we have really tried. I think, we can really give credit to our community as being such, trailblazers and community builders, and how resourceful we are at just bringing each other together. I've definitely felt a sense of community and new connections with people, being able to, have a kind of a digital connection with people has still been, powerful.
Yeah, I guess the positive is that now it sort of opens up the geography of the community, that we can be all across the UK. Luca, you're in Glasgow right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how are you sort of finding being at home?
It's freezing, but it's beautiful. I just really resonate with so much of what Asher said there. you know, I feel so grateful as well. Like, I'm really lucky that throughout the whole thing, I've had some amazing opportunities creatively, personally, a lot of moments to just work on shit that I didn't have, wouldn't have had the facility to otherwise. And I'm really grateful for that. And I'm also aware that there's people, many folk that are simply just trying to survive. So, I'm very lucky in the position I'm in. But yeah, of course, there's been a huge change in, what my life day to day looks like. And I'm someone that just like lives for the stage and for performing and having to adapt and like learn how to perform on like live stream or like to camera rather than to person. It's been a whole new journey, which I'm actually really grateful for because I think like new skills and that is really cool. I'm amazed at folk like both of you actually that have kept opportunities and such a presence online. And I think it's amazing the way the whole community has adapted and just become really resourceful, really creative. We've really shown up. Like, when the government haven't shown up for us, we've really like taken it into our own hands and like created our own opportunities. We just need some money now. Overall, I'm really I'm all right. I'm all right.
What do you do at the moment to sort of stay creative, and maybe what would you like recommend to other singers to sort of keep, like you say, keep maintaining this like positive, like productive attitude?
I think what's kept me going is other people, really. In the first lockdown, I didn't actually do much music at all. I didn't know what my relationship with music was when it wasn't, when it was lockdown. I hadn't figured that out yet. So I was like, if I don't feel like it, I'm just not going to do it. And that was quite good actually for me to have a break from the constant having to do stuff all the time. Now I'm definitely more in a place where we kind of know what our lives are like in lockdown. And what's really kept me going is actually just being inspired by all my pals, like and people I look up to. Seeing the content that people are putting out, or like having a FaceTime with someone or having a call with someone and seeing how they're working or things that they're doing really just spurs me on to get my teeth into something. I'm someone that needs routine, I think. So waking up in the morning and saying, right, I'm going to do a bit of writing every morning, or I'm going to listen to a bit of music, simple things like that for me have really kept me going. And then before I know it, I'm like coming up with stuff naturally. Little kind of bits of routine to cling on to, and seeing the amazing things that other people do, that kind of spurs me on.
And I think it's like giving yourself a break sometimes when you're, say, in a sort of creative, stimulating environment. It's so easy to take it for granted, but when you're sort of stuck at home, it's quite easy to be like really hard on yourself. I think it's really important to like give yourself a break and just be like, well, of course you're not feeling as productive as you would be because of like, have you seen the news? It's like so just, yeah. With me, like with the first lockdown, I found it hard to make any music because I thought, well, how does it compare to the crisis, and how does it compare to Black Lives Matter?
Like of course, in times of despair, like around the world, like great art has come out of it. Not always though, but like yeah, okay, cool. If part of your narrative and part of your art is the soundtrack of whatever, cool. But like it's not like during that like minute by minute, everyone's like hitting the studio the minute something bad. Like we need to get through it in life first, and then if you want to draw from that, cool. But I didn't really understand this pressure that people felt to be the soundtrack of like lockdown and coronavirus. It's like that'll come in whatever way it comes to you, but I don't think it's a necessity for us to be us as artists to provide some kind of soundtrack to it. It's like you may or may not want to draw on that. I write a lot about what my life looks like and the kind of hustle and bustle of it all. So when I don't have that, it's like I've been in the same four walls for 9 months. That's not the most inspiring thing for me to write about. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of it's twos and fro's.
Asher, how do you navigate that as like a sound artist, as someone who is always working, you're always working with communities and you're within a community. How do you navigate that kind of four walls around you and you've just got your computer and you're just making music all the time? Like how have you sort of managed to stay kind of productive through that?
Well, I'm really, really resonating again with what Luca's saying, and I think also the clues in the question, and that is people and community. I do base a lot of my kind of work or experiences, or I place a lot of precedence in being with and communicating with people. Truth be told, and I think that's like everyone, we have a lot of kind of down moments. We have a lot of moments of like a lack of self-empowerment or motivation, and followed by that is often guilt. And I think kind of a takeaway from this has been like, you know, allow it, you know what I mean, and be forgiving, which, you know, is a challenge in itself. How do I remain creative? Yeah, keep sketching. I try and do little things every day, a bit of writing, a bit of music. When I'm in the four walls, I'm like very guilty of being like, oh my God, like hate that. And I just have to be like, save it, pause, come back later. I think, you know, your own individual experience and your own perspective is important. And actually it's about being part of a bigger picture even than the powerful movements and moments that we've spoken of.
Yeah, I think it's not that your individual experience and perspective doesn't matter. It's just that is going to come, like how to, for me, like how to articulate that is going to come at different points for different people. So like,
Really?
I still don't know how I feel about the past year. Like I have no idea. Like I'm still trying to figure out how I even talk about what's going on, you know? But then I put myself under this crazy pressure to create and write about it, and I'm like, I can't even, like, even now I'm like, I can't even talk about it. So it's like just maybe alleviating some of that pressure with healthy motivation as well and inspiration. So it's like we're all walking some kind of tightrope, right? Like,
Yeah.
Completely.
What things would you both recommend that are out there online that people need to check out?
Some of the biggest and most, you know, fun moments of doing this have been like sat there watching like a drag show on Instagram, and all of the little clunky bits as people are trying to figure it out, and just like seeing that kind of happen and people just doing it. It's been really cool. I've seen YouTube shows and been part of Zoom like support groups, and I mean, it's out there ultimately.
things are becoming so accessible. In fact, they are so accessible. Like that, we have, you know, what you were saying earlier, Will, about across the UK, we're across the world now. Like, you know, in terms of who we can connect with and how we connect and who we discover, how we discover. I've definitely drawn so much energy and inspiration from what people are putting out there. But then I've equally been like, I am gonna turn off my phone for the next 3 days because it's overwhelming. So, you know, it's there if you want it, and you're able to dip in and out, which is a beautiful thing as well. I actually have a question for Asher on like about how you feel about this, because like I have my own things about this, but like, you know, when you're programming, putting together these beautiful online cabaret shows, does that successfully replace the live thing, or should that be treated differently to the live thing? For me, we have so much opportunity with the online thing to do something kind of different that you wouldn't see. You know, for me, it shouldn't just replace a live gig, because nothing will ever replace that connection in the room. So how do you navigate that when you're putting a show together, or when you're hosting it, or when you're, you know, literally doing the Zoom? What does that look like for you? How do you feel about that, like live versus online?
I think it's a really good question, and something I think about every time actually. I've done a few strictly digital shows, and I know from seeing other people's shows like how difficult it's been for people to kind of transition into this digital Zoom, whatever kind of world. And first and foremost, it's different. I don't know even we can make a comparison. I know that in a lot of the shows I'm doing, people have like video works, and I'm aware of it. So I'm like, oh, you've got a video piece, bring it in. For the second Antics, it was a live show in a physical setting. We did like a socially distanced one between one lockdown and before another one, and something happened, tier 4 happened, I don't know, but like you're allowed to do it, legally able to do a cabaret show, so we did. And my kind of takeaway from kind of doing these digital shows was that actually you could bring kind of a Zoom component to it. So we had a Zoom live stream, and we beamed a performer in to do a spoken word piece from a place where they were comfortable and safe. I do think that this has opened up new capabilities, and I think accessibility is a really kind of big part of it. That, yeah, as we keep saying, we can kind of reach out and connect with people in all sorts of the world. Actually, that's the people in our kind of local people who may have different accessibility requirements. But in terms of mixing up and having a live gig, we had some live stuff, also had some videos, because I wanted to preserve that actually it's all valid in the kind of field of art and experiences.
I love that. Like, when you do come to do a live thing, why can't you stream in a Zoom performer or have a video, like actually just, crossing these elements and not having them as two rigidly separate things? That's, yeah. Yes.
I can vouch that when I saw your event online on Zoom, like the live aspect of it on Zoom, visually it looked incredible. It looked like a piece of art. So there's so much that you can do even within Zoom. I think people don't realize that, do they? They sort of think that, you do just have to have it like a desktop sort of thing, but you can make a real sort of visual masterpiece.
I think everyone that's like released, I don't know how you both feel about this, but certainly I feel like if you've released anything in the past kind of wee while, it does seem like people engage with it, and people kind of stop and take the time to check it out. I've definitely found the online, the digital creative community to be so supportive of each other, actually, and supportive of the content that people are creating, and a lot of collaborations happening. Like, I've definitely like collaborated with people and discovered people that I never might have before, if I'd not had the minute to stop and take notice. So that's been a beautiful thing for sure.
So what you're going to share with us, your track, was this something that was made within lockdown?
It was made just before London went back into whatever tier it went back into. So in November, I think. And yeah, I found this great space, community art space called Apple Cart Arts that's run by, I have a friend of mine, Meg Bird, and it's run by her dad. And normally they do a lot of like community theatre and classes and stuff like that, but none of that was happening due to lockdown. So they had this beautiful space that was kind of sitting there, and then I was asked to create a kind of Christmas set for a publishing company called Witherbees, and I decided to take that commission and make it into something that I'd also kind of just love to do. It was a bit kind of indulgent of me, but I was like, well, I have this friend Steph who's incredible, and she's a dancer and kind of like movement artist, and we're just really like kindred spirits creatively. And I was like, well, I've really wanted to create something with Steph for a long time, so I'm gonna like bend this Christmas thing into something I can do with Steph in this beautiful space, and it all kind of came together like that. But yeah, it was in November when we could still do things, and yeah.
It's coming on Christmas, they're cutting down trees, they're throwing up reindeer, singing songs of joy and peace. I wish I had a river I could skate away on. Yeah, but it don't snow here, it stays pretty green. I'm gonna make a lot of money, then I'm gonna quit this crazy scene. I wish I had a river I could skate away on. I wish I had a river so long I would teach my feet to fly. Oh, I wish I had a river I could skate away on. I made my baby cry. He tried hard to help me, you know, he put me at ease. And he loved me so naughty, made me weak in my knees. I wish I had a river I could skate away on. But I'm so hard to handle, I'm selfish and I'm sad. Now I've gone and lost the best baby that I ever had. I wish I had a river I could skate away on. I wish I had a river so long I would teach my feet to fly. Oh, I wish I had a river I could skate away on. I made my baby say goodbye. It's coming on Christmas. They're cutting down trees. They're throwing up reindeer, singing songs of joy and peace. I wish I had a river I could skate away on.
Wow, that was fantastic. That
Wow.
was
Thank you.
beautiful. Beautiful.
My
Right.
favorite Christmas song. Beautiful.
Yeah.
My mum was coming over going, "What's that?" Joni.
Who was the incredible dancer?
So that's the amazing Steph Burrell. She's just incredible, really. You know, we actually connected kind of online. She was living in Mexico in Berlin for a year, so we kind of like had chatted a lot online while she was in Berlin. Started kind of dancing to my music and got really into like jazz vocalists and improvising dance to their kind of improv. And I was like, oh, you're amazing. And then she came back to London and we met and hung out, and it just kind of affirmed how much I love her and really wanted to work with her. So I took this video kind of commission thing as an opportunity to start our kind of collaboration together. We both like loved this song and spoke about how much we loved it, and it felt like November was like, I don't know, we weren't in full lockdown, but it still felt kind of shit for me. It just felt a bit dark, like coming into winter and kind of knowing that things weren't going to get better. Around Christmas, I was like, this is quite cathartic, like making that video. I had the most amazing team. Sam Dye on visuals, he did an incredible job. Simon Chorley did all the mixing and audio. Ellie Argenti did my makeup queen. And yeah, it just really came together. Jay Verma on piano, who I love working with. And it was amazing. Like, just making that was just such a joy. It was kind of, yeah, just a joyful experience to make it.